Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the RLM podcast. I am your host, Eli Detter. We are starting season 2 of episode 5 after almost a year-long hiatus of doing these regularly scheduled episodes. Just to let you guys know, obviously this new season is going to be fewer episodes, but with longer episodes, so more content packed into just fewer episodes for each season that we continue this. Personally, I'm happy that I brought this back. Again, been almost a year since we did our final finale episode. Obviously, then I was with the thought that I would never bring this back, but I kept it around in case it was something I want to continue, and here we are back at it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. Today specifically, what I really want to talk about is the meaning of desensitizing, but also at the same time what the meaning of Stoicism is, and how that all relates and correlates to you, your relationships, your work, your jobs. Now, to give you a definition of what Stoicism really means. So Stoicism is a philosophy, dates back to ancient Greek and Roman era timing, and is basically, it's a philosophy focused on living virtuously in harmony with everything around you, and controlling your responses to external events. Basically accepting what's happening and accepting that what happened can't be changed. So it's focused on resilience, wisdom, courage, justice, temperance, and it's really about maintaining firm when everything's hectic, being the calm voice in the storm, being the calm mind in a room full of shouting and yelling. That's really what Stoicism is. Now, again, Stoicism is mainly about self-control, right? It's mainly about controlling your emotions, controlling your impulses, right? Controlling those impulses to try and, I think it's a common impulse for us to freak out when things get crazy, right? It's a common impulse for us to always try and use emotion to change how we're going to react. But I think if we just use reason, right? We use logic and really thought about it, there's not often a reason for us to freak out. And I understand that sometimes you just want to let loose all the emotions that you're feeling. Sometimes you just want to let loose all the tension that you're feeling, all the stress that you're feeling. And the most common way for you to do that is to vocally just go insane, right? You're going to want to shout, you're going to want to scream, you're going to want to hit something, you're going to be confused as to when other people are staying calm, because then that makes you feel like you're out of control. So really what we want to talk about is, how do we maintain the control while also fully experiencing the feelings, fully experiencing the emotions? So now I want to talk about Stoicism with desensitizing, because I think people often mix those two up. So desensitization is much different. Sensitization literally is, it's self-explanatory. It's when repeated exposure to like trauma or certain fears or violence, especially, it just means that your brain does not respond to it anymore, right? You're literally going to become less sensitive to trauma. And this can be used as a tool, but it can also be harmful in certain situations, especially for how long you use it, right? If you're someone that commonly suppresses their emotions and commonly tries to hide how they feel, commonly is also exposed to this constant of, if you're exposed to a constant trauma, right, then you're going to eventually suffer from desensitization, which means that your brain's just not going to be scared anymore. Say you're afraid of spiders and you keep seeing the same spider, right? The same spider that you're supposed to be scared of. Eventually you're not going to be scared of it because it's there. It knows you're there. It's not going to make you afraid anymore. I think that can be like terrifying in a way. It's something that you should be, that you should be reacting. And I think that's the really hard part of this, is that when you should be reacting, but you have no reaction, it can be worrying. It can be scary, because you almost think, am I broken? Is that why I don't have a reaction to this? I fully know that I have forced myself and caused myself to just be completely unresponsive when it comes to trauma. And not completely unresponsive. I think I have automatic responses, right? My legs will bounce up and down. My hands will be jittery and always have to be fidgeting with something. But emotionally, I have a severe lack of response to traumatic events. Trauma can literally be, it can be anything that causes your brain to react a little differently, right? Trauma doesn't have to be someone abusing you or someone bullying you or something. It can be anything that causes stress repeatedly. That is trauma. And I think I've learned eventually how to not, I just don't respond to it. And I wish I did. I wish that wasn't something that I always felt like I had to force a response. I felt it as a kid, and I still feel it now, is that I always feel like I need to force a response to things. Because I fear that if I don't have a response to something that I know I should, right, I may fear that there's something broken. I think I need to learn that it's okay to not have a response. I often, and this is sad, this isn't something I love talking about, but I often feel nothing at all. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why it is that I often just feel nothing. It's not like I'm sad all the time, but I'm also not really ever happy. I would say I'm content. I don't really know what that feels like. I don't know what it means to just be content. I guess that means to be okay with where you are, but I'm not. That's why it's confusing, because I truly don't know like where I'm at with that. I don't really feel the anger anymore. I wish I could feel something sometimes. More often than not, I just feel a monotony, right? And it could be the most upsetting, disappointing thing that I should have this insane reaction to, but I just don't. I don't know how to express these emotions. I don't know how to feel these emotions. I don't feel sadness. I don't feel happiness. I go about every day and I know what I need to do, so I do it. So when there's dissension, when there's stress, when there is trauma, I don't have a reaction. I process it in a way of acknowledging that it exists, and then I move on. And that's all I do. That's all I have the ability to do. I don't have the literal ability to just feel these emotions so as powerfully as other people do. And again, I say I wish I did, because I think maybe it would be more helpful. I think it would be easier for other people to understand me if I could have these reactions, but I don't have these reactions for them. There is no reaction for me to have, because I feel literally nothing. It's like when a wave washes over sand, right? It leaves behind a blank slate. No matter how much you mess up the sand, that wave comes over and it takes it all away, right? Build a sandcastle, the wave comes and destroys that sandcastle, and there's nothing left. There might be the slightest indentation of where that sandcastle used to be, the slightest little bump of sand. There's nothing significant. There's nothing suggesting that there was something beautiful, something amazing right there. The only thing that it suggests is that there was a presence of something, but you don't know what it was. And as much as I can try and figure it out, I don't know even where to start. And I wish I did have therapists when I was a kid, and I wish I'd really talked to them about it. Because I think if I had talked about it then, I might have an explanation. I might have a solution for it now. But I got stuck in that safety of it. Because it is a safety net. It's a safety net that I know that nothing can bother me. Right? When I went to boot camp, right? And you have people yelling at you, you have people screaming. You have so much trauma and stimulus coming from that. I had no reaction to it, because I was like, my brain just accepts that. My brain just accepts that as normal. I'm not even like really noticing it half the time, because I don't have a reaction to it. There's nothing about what's going on that my brain's like, oh, well, wow, this really sucks. How can I make sure this happens again? No, there was no point in boot camp where I was like, there's no point in boot camp where I was like, gosh, this is really bad. I can't handle it. I can't deal with it. I kind of just, it's like if I had a volume knob and I turned it all the way down to where I could just barely hear it, and that was my monotony. So no matter how bad things could have gotten, no reaction. Now, do I think that helped me? Absolutely. I think it helped me because it made me a little more resilient to the harder parts of it. And I think that does in life, because it helps me to be resilient to the harder parts, to when shit really hits the fan. I should be freaking out, but no, I can't freak out. The only thing I'm thinking about is, how do I keep moving forward? So maybe it's a coping mechanism, but maybe it's also truly a tool to be used to help myself and to help other people to just take a step back and relax. Because I don't have any reason to freak out, and I'm not going to cause there to be a reason to freak out. I truly have no reason to freak out. That's why when bad things happen, I'm always like, well, it's not that bad, Sure, it's not ideal. It's not what I'd like to have happen. It's not fun. I'm not happy about it, but I'm not sad. I'm not upset. I'm not disappointed. It's just another thing that happened. And maybe that's like a really nihilistic and like pessimistic way to look at it, is that, oh, it's just another thing that happened. Oh, but it's not like I'm looking as, oh, woe is me, this had to happen again. It's just, well, this really sucks. how do we keep moving forward? Because I don't have time to look backwards. I'm driving down the road. I don't have any time to look in the rearview mirror. So I keep driving. And I keep driving. I keep driving. If the car crashes on the way, I'll get out of it. I'll hop in a new one. I'll keep driving. And that is probably seriously unhealthy. I admit that. I admit that it's a problem that I have. I admit that that is not the solution to all my problems, but it's the solution I created. Because I didn't know where else to turn. I created a little cage for myself, and the only way to get out of it is for me to simply imagine it's not there anymore. And that's what I have to do. That's what I have to do from now on. I have to imagine that it is not there anymore. I have to live my life as if there is nothing that can possibly stop me, because there isn't. There is nothing that will slow me down. There's nothing that's going to stop me. There's nothing that's going to make me lose sight of the goal. And the goal is really just to you go forward. There is no end. Like there is no end goal. There isn't no goal in the same way there is for some people. For most people, there's a goal, right? You want to get to that, I don't know, metaphor to use. If you're in the gym, you have a goal of a certain weight you want to hit. If you were at a job, you have a certain goal of the promotions you want to get, the job you want to have in the future. If you're in the military, you have a goal of what rank you want to promote to eventually in your life. We all have a goal, but I think I looked at it as those are simply achievements I must achieve, reach the goal. And the goal really is that at the end of my life, I can look back and say that I did everything I was supposed to do. I did everything I needed to do to live a full life. So I think that's the goal. I don't think the goal is like a set thing, like, oh, I'm gonna be this good. No, that's not really what I'm worried about. I have a mindset enough and I have the ego enough that I know that I can achieve those things. That's not the problem. The problem isn't, what the knowledge of whether or not I can achieve it. The problem simply is whether or not I have the strength to, because ego gets me so far. Strength is what's going to keep me going. Discipline is going to keep me going. Ego gets me started. Ego is what kind of keeps me going in a way. Ego kind of like is in the back of my mind, like, yeah, I know I can do it, I know I can, but I just need to be actually willing to put in the work and effort. And that's often, I think, the barrier for most people and for me is that, are we always really willing to put in all that effort? Or are we kind of always looking at it like, wow, I don't really feel like putting that much effort in. I'm going to hold back actually because God forbid I put in all that effort. So if we really think about it, if the end goal is a set marker, is a set milestone that we're gonna stop at, I think we're looking at it wrong. I don't think we're looking at the whole picture. Then, if the end goal is just one little substation in life that we're okay with stopping at, maybe my problem is that I don't have a set end goal. I don't have and I don't have it's not like I have. I don't imagine you're going to work and you have a house to come home to, right? You work all day so you can come back home at night, right? I don't have that in my mind. I don't have an end goal in life that I'm trying to get to. I'm just trying to keep going as far as I can. Maybe that's really what it is. My end goal is to see how far I can get. The farther I get, the more successful I feel, the more satisfied I may feel. But I don't know. I don't know if all this ceaseless, search for a meaning is ever going to come to anything, really. And that's fine. That's not my problem. My problem and my goal is not to, it's not gonna, I don't know. My goal can't be something that my goal can't stop me, because I think that's the problem. Just me personally. I hate thinking about stopping. Maybe that's why I hate goals so much. Goals seem like a place I'm gonna stop at, you know what I mean? Goals seem like a place that I'm gonna run 5 miles and then I'll stop at 5, right? Obviously, practically, yeah, I'm gonna run 5 miles and I'm gonna stop at 5. But in the, metaphorically, I'm just gonna keep running. There's no reason to stop. Why do I have to stop? I don't have to stop. I can just keep running. And I think that kind of can be seen as, oh, you're running from having to actually commit to anything, right? So if I don't have to commit to anything, I don't have to have a goal. If I don't have to have a goal, I can just keep doing what I wish to do. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's a fear of committing. Maybe it's a fear of committing to one thing and wanting to just be free. But at the same time, am I also not committing myself to persist and persevere through everything, right? Because if I'm not going to have a set goal, then there's no limit to what I can achieve. But at the same time, if I have a set goal, I'm basically setting a limit to what I'm willing to achieve. And that therein is what dissuades me from setting a goal like that. So I think it's almost like catch-22, because while I want to achieve everything there is to achieve, I don't want to set a limit to what I'm willing to achieve.
What?
To bring this back to the topic of this whole situation, which was desensitization and Stoicism. Both are tools. Both can be utilized in your life. Be careful that your desensitization does not make you immune to the deeper things in life. That it doesn't make you immune to love. That doesn't make you immune to actually feeling emotion. It's healthy to feel emotion. It's healthy to feel sad, to feel mad, to feel upset, to feel disappointed, to feel all these things. It's healthy. That is all healthy. There's nothing unhealthy about feeling those emotions. What's unhealthy, and it's where Stoicism comes in, what's unhealthy is allowing those emotions to control the way you're going to react to external events. Like I said, Stoicism is about self-control. Both things really are about self-control. You have to control yourself. It's not control your emotions. You can't control your emotions, but you can control your reaction. If you feel angry and you immediately act on that anger, you're probably going to do something rash, and you're going to do something that's going to hurt you in the long run and hurt other people in the long run. So you can't act on that anger. You have to act with logic, not emotion. Emotion doesn't get you far when it comes to actual success. Emotion is like a blueprint, right? Emotion is a blueprint, but the true filler, the true actual building blocks is the logic and the reasoning, the practicality of what you're doing. You can't go into anything just being like, well, I'm upset, so I'm going to do something about it, because that's not going to help you. That's not gonna boost you in any manner or way. So the actual like building blocks of your life has to be practicality and logic. So don't act on the minute little impulse thoughts in your brain that are telling you to make that impulse action towards someone. If you're mad at someone, the immediate reaction should not be to hurt them or assault them physically or emotionally. The reaction should be, hey, I'm going to take a step back from the situation. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to come back when I'm not in this state of mind where I'm angry and I'm doing stupid actions. The immediate reaction when you're sad should not be to isolate yourself and to burrow within your own soul and just wallow. That should not be your immediate reaction. I don't want you guys to think that I'm like this cold, unfeeling person. I feel empathy for people. I think I've lost the ability to feel sympathy at some point. I think because everyone can always use the excuse that, oh, this is really hard, this is really tough. Yes, it is, and there's always worse. I think that's what made me not be able to feel sympathy. But at the same time, I feel empathy, meaning I can understand where people are coming from. I can understand where people are feeling these things from. I don't think that I can say, I don't think it's fair to say, oh, I don't feel anything, but I also don't think I can really say, oh, I feel things. Because I don't. In the long sense of things, I really don't. I don't get angry. I don't have time for it. Sadness might be like the closest thing to what I actually am able to feel. But it's still, I don't know how to outwardly express that. Could learn how to. I don't want anyone to feel the things that I don't want anyone to feel this way. I want everyone to be able to properly express their emotions, because it's so unhealthy when you don't. It's so unhealthy. It's unhealthy for you and for everyone around you. I don't want people to be stuck wondering why they're in the same place. But at the same time, I can't lie to them and say, well, it's not your fault. It probably is. If you suppress your emotions all the time and you never feel and you never react, you're going to end up emotionless and unfeeling. And while there are ways that you can deal with it, which really, it's actually interesting. Someone asked me this morning, how do you deal with it? And next they told me that they often feel emotionless. And I said, well, I often feel the same. And they said, well, how do you deal with it? And I said, I keep moving and I keep living. I can't allow myself to stop, because if I stop, it's going to catch up. If I stop, it's going to, I'm going to get enveloped by what I'm running from. And I don't think I'm necessarily running from the emotions, but I'm running from what's causing them. So if I stop moving, gosh, I can't stop, because it's going to get me. It's going to chase me. And I don't want that. I don't want that. That is the last thing I want. So while at the same time, I don't want people to feel as if I'm unfeeling, there is a level to which I simply don't feel much of anything. And that's sad. That really is. I find emotion beautiful, but I also find it absolutely heartbreaking, you know what I mean? And maybe that's okay. Maybe it's okay when I don't feel. Maybe it's okay when I simply don't know how to react. But I can't imagine that my brain and my mind and my heart is healthy from all of it. At some point, it's going to break down. At some point, I'm going to come to that realization when I'm like, gosh, I can't keep going on like this anymore. I need to find something new and different. I need to find something better than this. And whatever that's going to be, I hope to God I figure it out. I don't ever want the people in my life to feel as if I don't love them. But love is also one of those things that I don't think I fully understand it yet, but I understand the feeling of it. I don't understand how to always react to it, and that's okay. I don't think we all should, but maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay. Maybe at the end of this, I'll realize that I had it right all along. But in the more likely, probable chance that I've had this messed up this entire time, I hope that there is someone that is able to show me and teach me how to do this the right way. There are people in this world that I love dearly, that I love with every inch of my heart. And I hope that they know that. I hope that they know that that's a non-negotiable, that I love them for who they are no matter what. But they need to understand, sometimes it is so hard for my mind to catch up to what my heart feels. Doesn't make me love them any less. It just means sometimes it's a little harder to feel it. Don't be afraid to show your emotion. Don't end up like me, where you don't have a reaction. Don't end up like that. Use self-control. Use stoicism. Study stoicism. Read about it. Focus on what it actually means, not what you think it means. Stoicism isn't the unfeeling, the unreacting person. That's not stoicism. Stoicism is the man that feels all those emotions but doesn't allow the feelings of those emotions to dictate his future choices. No, instead, he allows the emotion to be the blueprint, but allows the building blocks, the actual emotion, be the logic and the practicality of the situation. There is no reason for you to allow yourself to fall on the crutch of your emotions for your actions. You cannot say, oh, well, I did this because I'm upset. Oh, I did this because I'm sad, because I'm mad. You can't use that, because that's not fair to you or anyone else around you to use that as your crutch, as your excuse. You gotta take a step back and realize everything that there is. Often it's not gonna make sense, and that's okay. And you just have to be willing to accept what is, and accept that what is and what has been cannot be changed. The past is the past. It can't be changed. It can't be fixed. You can only focus on the here and now and on working towards a better future. So please go forward and do that with your life. My name's Eli Detter. Thank you for listening to the RLM podcast. I hope you sincerely enjoyed this episode and were able to understand and relate to it. And if you couldn't relate to it, I hope that you can share it with someone who can. To view this podcast episode on other platforms, you can simply go to @RLM Podcast on Instagram, and you can find the link to all of our streaming sites. I sincerely encourage you to continue to listen to season 5 of this podcast, as we are going to bring it back in the most extraordinary way. Please continue to support. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.